this is Daphne Bennear with the St. Mary's County Department of Aging and Human Services. Welcome to the Family Caregivers Virtual Symposium. We are so excited you're here. We're so happy to be able to present all the speakers and the resources and the information that you're going to get during this month of November, National Family Caregivers Month. So today is week 1, and we are going to hear from Terri Verbic-Boggs about essential oils and the use of them as a caregiver for yourself and for those that you care for. Now, Terri is a native of St. Mary's County. She has a passion for educating and empowering others to take charge of their health. She's a registered nurse, certified health coach, a wife, a mother, and a proud grandma. Terri's a graduate of the University of Maryland School of Nursing, and she received her nutrition and health coach certification from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. She's currently enrolled in the School of Applied Functional Medicine, and she's a young living essential oil enthusiast. I think you're really going to enjoy Terri's presentation today, and you're going to get a lot of good information. So let's hear from Terri now.
Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Terri Verbic-Boggs and I am a registered nurse and a health coach and am beyond excited to be here today with all of you. Virtually, I'm not excited about because I love seeing you and hugging you and I'm one of those people, but I'm going to pretend that I'm with you and that I can see your beautiful faces and just say thank you for the privilege of being here with you today. I do really want to commend all of you for being caregivers, whether it's family caregiver, paid caregivers, whoever you might be caring for. It is not an easy job, and I would definitely share with you as a registered nurse, as a person who has been in healthcare for over 40 years, and as a private caregiver. I have taken care of family members and certainly taken care of many people professionally, and neither one is very easy. I will definitely share with you. So hats off to you for all that you're going through, the things that you're trying to endure, the things you're trying to find answers for, and my guess is, just assuming, most of you are probably taking really good care of your loved ones and not taking care of yourself. So it was an honor when I got the phone call from the lovely folks at the Department of Aging to say, yes, absolutely, I want to come and share with you personal experiences as well as professional, and just to help you kind of figure out a path and a road and how to help yourself as well as the person that you're providing care for today. So I was asked to speak to you about aromatherapy and essential oils and their benefits, health benefits, and how it could help you. And what I want to share right off the bat is for all of you, regardless of whether you are caring for a family member, you may be, as I said, paid caregiver, somebody who is caring for someone who has Alzheimer's or dementia and has some cognitive deficits. It may be that you're caring for folks with other medical illnesses, someone who's terminal, whatever the situation might be, or even this day and age, if you're watching, it could be that you're trying to take care of your kids at home or your family members or other people who aren't necessarily sick, but all this information will benefit you in the sense of how can we keep ourselves healthy, boost our immunity, and get through this together. And I will tell you, and live an example, you can do it and you will. So thanks for listening. As I said, personal caregiver stories, professional caregiver stories, and none of them are any different or easy in the sense of the one thing that I think, as Daphne had contacted me and we talked, was compassion fatigue was the thing that really kind of stood out for me, because I don't think many people are aware of it, and it's a real thing. We tend to put ourselves down and think, oh gosh, what's wrong with me? How come I can't deal with this? How come I don't have the patience anymore? Or feel like you're at your wit's end, but yet you're trying to stick it out and do the best you can because you're in this situation and you don't feel like you have the help or support that you need. But just to be aware, compassion fatigue is real, it's human. And so allow yourself to be human and know that through some little tips and things we're going to talk about, it can help you as well as the person that you're caring for. So without further ado, since they asked me to talk about aromatherapy, I would love to let you know that I am a huge fan of aromatherapy, love essential oils. I will tell you, for a few years when they were first introduced to me, I didn't want to hear anything about it. I went la 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 because I just thought it was just a big bunch of hocus pocus, witchcraft, crazy stuff. And I'm a big skeptic, and you got to really prove things to me. So I share that with you because if you're thinking the same thing, like, Lord, why would I want to listen to this? Just know that, just hear me out. It's not witchcraft and hocus pocus. It's the real deal, and it really has made a huge difference for everyone I know, personally, professionally, and I would like to share some of the stories with you, particularly related to being a caregiver. So very quickly, without a lot of boring details, just aromatherapy is very natural. It's a natural health option to looking at how to calm yourself, how to boost your immunity, how to relieve symptoms that you're having, and to support lots of body systems. Overall, great health, no side effects. So unlike if you're taking medications that you're worried about, well, is this going to interfere with this? Is that going to interfere with something else? You don't have to worry about those particulars. I do help and coach people and say, if you're certain medications, we look at what you're on. Absolutely, you're going to use it without any problem. So from a safety standpoint, they're very, very safe. Safe for elderly, safe for children, safe for pets for that matter, as long as you know where you've gotten them from and that they're higher quality. So with that being said, what I want to share with you as a caregiver is that you may be wondering, like, well, how could I possibly use that? I'm here helping this person and trying to help them to eat each day and helping to keep them clean and dry and comfortable and provide activities for them. So what would aromatherapy have to do with anything related to me being a caregiver? And what I'll share with you is that I think one of the biggest mistakes that many of us have made, me included, so I'm stepping on my own toes, when we're caring for folks, particularly those of you who have loved ones who have any kind of cognitive deficit. So we're talking about Alzheimer's, dementias, all the forms of Alzheimer's that are out there, dementia. But in general, just anybody who can't think for themselves, who doesn't have that ability anymore to sort out details, who you're struggling to rationalize with or try to help them to cope, and you're thinking, why don't they understand me? Or how come they repeated the same thing 5 times? And it gets so exhausting, and I know that. But aromatherapy, you can actually benefit from while they're also benefiting. So as I'm sitting here, I have a diffuser going, and you can see maybe, I'm not sure if you can see in the camera, but there's a mist coming out. So there's actually essential oils inside of here that you intentionally can choose, you purposely choose based on what's the goal, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So if it's nighttime and you're trying to get someone to settle down and go to sleep, you may put some drops of lavender in here, and that's going to help to just create a calm environment and help you chill out. Lavender, even during the daytime, is very, very calming, particularly for people who have cognitive deficits. And I'll share a story with you. Working in long-term care, and for many years have been involved with long-term care. And we actually implemented a program in a facility where we had a day program for folks who had cognitive deficits. And these were people who did a lot of sitting all day, didn't have interest in things. They were losing weight. They weren't eating very well. They were falling at night because they wanted to climb out of bed, and they were getting their days and nights mixed up. Sound familiar to you? Probably. So we implemented a program and had diffusers going, multiple diffusers in this big open room. You wouldn't need multiple. One in your room with your loved one is good. And we diffused regularly during the day and the evening, and within within days we saw improvements. But I will tell you, big improvements. In the course of just a couple of months, we had completely reduced the number of falls that were occurring. Folks who were sleeping, who didn't sleep at night, who were trying to climb out of bed and just didn't want to be asleep, had their days and nights mixed up, they were sleeping. And of course, this was in a facility, so my night staff was loving me because they're like, thank you, they're really sleeping at night and we can take good care of them. So we had family members who literally cried and said, my mom is a different person. I have my own mom. She's literally like smiling, she's participating, she's tapping her feet and listening to music and is calm. Some people had words that they were saying that they hadn't been talking or communicating. The list is endless as far as just the possibilities of bringing out that person. And why did that happen? It wasn't magic. It was the fact that they were calm. There was a very sense of calm. And so if you're curious about essential oils and aromatherapy and think, well, how does that work? Like you're just diffusing something in the air. Those oils, whether you put them on you topically, we call it, which means I could take a drop of any oil, rub it. I'll do it now to show you. I could take a drop of oil. This is Valor, which is amazing for discomfort. So if I had family member who, or myself, as I'm caring for a family member who's not feeling well and just hurting a lot, I could usually see one drop maybe of the oil there and just simply rub it in my hands, and I could get the benefit literally from just simply cupping my hands over my nose and face and just breathing in. And I love Valor, it's amazing. So as I'm sitting here, I'm breathing this in. It goes into the brain, into your limbic system in your brain. That is your area of emotions. That's your area for fight or flight. So, when things happen to you, freak out about it, or we stay calm. That's talking to that area. And so it helps this sense of calm. It's talking to your emotions. It's what helps to feed people's ability to just chill out and relax. So that's helping in that sense. That Valor is actually helping. I literally will rub it on my neck. So that's what I mean by topically. So aromatically, I just breathed it in. Topically, it's on my neck now and I can smell it. And as I continue to talk with you, I'm going to keep smelling it. And I'm getting the great benefit from that. So you can, how's it working? By going into the limbic system of the brain, it's helping in the sense of calming and cooling. I could have taken those same drops literally and rubbed it on the bottoms of my feet, and I would have gotten the same benefit. You might think, well, you didn't smell it, so how did that work? You have a lot of open pores on the bottoms of your feet, so even if you're not really smelling it because your feet are so far away from your nose, although you will smell it and they're amazing, but on the bottoms of your feet, you're still gonna have those open pores and it's gonna absorb into your skin. It doesn't affect anything. It doesn't interfere with medications. It doesn't make you feel sleepy or drowsy or drunk. It doesn't do anything except help you to relax. So lavender is a great one for you caring for folks who aren't sleeping well or who just seem fidgety all the time and just can't chill out. Lavender is a great one for that. The Valor I talked about, really good for discomfort. There's so many different, people call them flavors. They're not really flavors, but just different aromas, and that's why we call it aromatherapy, that help with different things. So as a caregiver, I guess, I'll just talk about a couple of them. I know that we don't have lots of time, but I would share with you, there's, for example, we have something called Stress Away, and I actually have one here, which is in a roller bottle. And so I will show you, you can literally, if you said, I don't want to put that on my hands, you wouldn't have to drop it. You could literally roll it on your neck, on your, wherever you want it to be. Stress Away, you can imagine just from the name, it's going to help calm the person down. Peace and calming is another one, very, very helpful in that sense. So there's a number of opportunities of different things to use. With folks who have Alzheimer's and dementia, we have terrific success with massage. All of us like to be hugged. All of us like to be, well, not all, but most of us like to be hugged. Some people don't. I'll take that back. But I'm a big fan of touching as a nurse, and many times, and particularly as a hospice nurse in the past and other experiences that I've had, touch was the most amazing thing I could ever give to any of my patients. It was. And simply holding a hand, simply a hand on a shoulder, a little massage goes a long way for people with their discomfort, with their fear, with any of that. And so the reason that I love aromatherapy as well is because I can incorporate those oils with that touch. I have an example of just a plain old oil. You could have in your household coconut oils or jojoba oils or olive oils or anything that you wanted. Lotion, even just regular lotion. Take the person's lotion, drop a drop of oil in there, rub it together, and literally just rub their hands, and you will be amazed at how they would just calm. Just that sense of peace and that calming. That's one of my favorite oils too, is peace and calming, but just that sense of that touch will help to settle them out. Many times working with folks and helping care for folks who had behavior issues, where they're just like, they're so agitated today and I've tried everything and I'm reasoning. Reasoning is gone. They don't get that, or maybe don't want to hear it. But most of the time they can't cognitively comprehend that to figure out what you're trying to say and why you're saying it. And it's for their safety. They don't understand that. So you have to be able to just gently grab your hand and just start rubbing. So you can do hand massages, done individual finger massages for folks, and it just settles them out like you just can't even imagine. So from a standpoint of everything you can think of, honestly, and I wish you were here so I could ask you questions of what's your biggest concern, but I can't. But if it's sleep issues, there's certainly oils that you can use aromatherapy for that. Whether you're diffusing, you can diffuse it in a bedroom, in a living room, wherever the living space is that they are at. You also could apply them, like we said, topically, rubbing them on their skin. You certainly could. There are means, and I will get into that too much today, but I actually take capsules, and we will put essential oils in the capsules and dilute it out with like an olive oil or a coconut oil or something else, so it doesn't taste so strong when they swallow the capsule. But if you had someone, or for yourself, who really needed to get the benefit from it and wanted to have maybe a quicker benefit, you can put it in a capsule and swallow it that way. So very, very safe, very, very calming, amazingly helpful in the sense of just helping people to have quality of life, because that is what it's all about. It's about caring for you and you getting adequate rest so that you can care for your loved one. And so, as we talked about sleep, we've talked about discomfort, we talked about a lot of other things. All of what I'm talking about would apply to you as well as for them. There are aromatherapy, I call them concoctions. The real name are blends, but I call them concoctions. And sometimes we'll make our own. We'll take empty bottles like this and just drop a couple of drops of this, a couple of drops of that, and mix up our own blends. And you certainly can do that. And I'm happy to help you with that if you have questions. But take one that has a lot of eucalyptus in it, for example. And this is one of my favorites, Breathe Again. If you have someone who isn't eating very well and they're just not feeling it because they have some congestion, they're feeling horrific, you can take Breathe Again. You literally could take a drop and dot it right into their nose, and they're breathing it in, and it just clears the head amazingly well. Like, you can't believe you could take a drop or two and roll it on their throat. And I'm saying it could be for you as well. So a lot of health benefits. I could talk forever about it, but I know we can't. But I just want to tell you, there's so many ways to calm you down and your family and your loved ones down. There's so many ways to improve their overall ability to eat, to sort things out, to have a little bit better cognitive ability than they have, better reasoning, and all of that. There's I could cover this table with all the different oils that are available to do that. So I just want to share that with you. Okay. So I wish that I could ask you for questions, but I know that we can't, because I can't talk with you. We're going to talk later. But what I will tell you is that the Office on Aging folks will have my information. If you have questions, I am happy to answer your questions at a later date when you are watching this, and they can give you that information. For those of you who are participating, you'll get a little gift bag that actually has some samples of some of these oils that we've talked about. The peppermint, which I didn't really get into, but head discomfort, feeling congested, sick to their stomach. It's a great oil for that, in my own home, if I have a headache or an upset stomach, I don't reach for over-the-counter medicines anymore. I don't even have a medicine cabinet. I would reach for the peppermint. So there's so many things that will help you in here, as well as stress away and things like that, to just reduce some stress, help you with sleep, help you with the basic things that a lot of you are probably dealing with. So again, I commend you wholeheartedly for what you're doing, for how hard you're working, and sometimes knowing or thinking, gosh, these efforts are futile, and like, what's the point? There's a big point. The big point is you're honoring your loved ones, you're taking good care of them, and long after they're gone, I will tell you this from a personal and professional standpoint, long after they're gone, you'll look back on these times and think, wow, I did the right thing. I did the very best I could do, and I took really good care of them. So be proud of that. You might not feel that right now, but hopefully eventually you will, and you'll have, I think, a better time grieving, knowing that you offered that and provided that for your loved ones. Okay. So thank you again for joining me, and any questions, just get a hold of me.
Thank you for attending this session of the Family Caregivers Virtual Symposium. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got lots of good information. Please comment and like and share with other people, with friends, with family, people that you think will benefit from this information. We want to get it out there and help other caregivers as well. I also want to remind you that the Department of Aging and Human Services has respite grant funding available. So if you're a caregiver and you need a break, a respite, we have funding that you may qualify for that can provide a professional caregiver in your home to allow you to have a break, to take a nap, take a walk, go to the grocery store, or whatever you need to do. So go ahead and get in contact with me, and we will try to get that information out to you. So remember to come back next week, because we're going to have another speaker. And if you have any questions or anything, please reach out to me at daphne.bennear@stmarysmd.com.